Boom, and welcome to another episode of Nobody Watching. Here's some news. The world is starved for ideas. I mean it. Ideas are serious business, and we need people who can not only think up some great ideas, but also put some work into birthing those ideas into a practical reality. I mean, if they're worthy. The ideas, I mean. People are always worthy, but ideas are a big responsibility. You never want to half-ass it or phone those ideas in, but you need to know which ideas hold the potential for further development. Without a constant flow of fresh ideas, we are left to grind on the retreads of existing ideas that quickly become stale, tired, and a waste of valuable energy, like a lot of what we see around us today. I get ideas all the time. They come at me constantly, day and night, without warning, no matter what I'm doing, shooting into my head like lightning. I realize that sounds like bragging, but it's not, because not all of them are great. Some of them are really quite stupid, actually, and it's good that I can wrestle them to the ground and vanquish them before they infect anyone else. Even when I come up with one I think might be great, or good, or have a glimmer of potential, sometimes I forget them in the throes of my excitement. And just like that, a perfectly great idea is gone. And like the fading glow of a light bulb that burns out, once that light is gone, you can't get it back. But as you strain to remember what the hell you were just mourning the loss of, pow! Another idea pops up. I work to keep the ones that have potential. Post-it type notes are great for that, and I have lots of them, everywhere. I think about how the ideas might work, what might become of them, where the path of possibility goes, and so on. It's good to avoid weighing down a new idea with too many restrictions. Keeps it fresh. I've been asked a number of times where my ideas come from. It's flattering, yet terrifying question if I interpret it properly, and while a flippant answer would likely be the most appropriate and can often put the issue to rest, the question deserves some respect and a reasonably honest response. The problem is, the answer's not easy. It can be deeply personal, sometimes messy, and often not something I, or others I imagine, spend a lot of time thinking about. You don't really care where the ideas come from. You just feel lucky that they keep coming, no matter how dopey some of them can be. That's the fun of it all. Trying to explain the conceptual nature of your personal ideation process often becomes a bloated, sprawling diatribe that can be awful and sound self-serving, almost like bragging but without valid credentials. Anyone who tells you they know exactly where ideas come from in 10 words or less is probably blowing smoke. As I think of it in a way that I could explain it, ideas come from the cavernous space in the back of my head, kind of near the top, where within the confines of my cranium, there's a vast, unlimited inner space where thought energy coalesces into the oddly strange thoughts I get to ponder and evaluate, deciding if and when they are ready to be shared or acted upon. Maybe. Sometimes an idea needs to be held for just the right time and just the right audience. In the wrong hands, a good idea can quickly become a bad one, and people will look at you strangely. Someone asked me once if I had a muse, as if that was where ideas come from. For the longest time I thought, no. That is ridiculous. And if I did, it was probably a crappy one because I couldn't afford one of the good ones, like it's a fancy box of crackers or something. But once asked, it was a concept I couldn't let go. Sure, I could have a muse. Why not? Probably not a muse like most people would imagine a muse, some sort of ethereal creature who feeds you the mythical, magical words of imagination. No. Years ago, while playing along and at the very least generating an answer for the question, I named my muse the philosopher Pasho, or perhaps that's what he told me his name was in his way. The notion of having a muse is spooky in and of itself. It flirts with the notion of dealing with a personality that you identify but may not exist. To some, the notion conjures a sense of some sort of instability. As I imagine him to be, Pasho is a quiet presence in my creative process. He doesn't feed me ideas as much as he kind of illuminates the quality of the idea. He kind of sits over there quietly, and if he likes something, I imagine him nodding slightly. And if the idea stinks, he might just offer a slow shake of the head with a tiny look of what might be disgust or gas. If he says anything at all, it's less directive and more conceptual, forcing me to think through it all some more. Ick. After so many years, we're still working through the nuances of our relationship. And I can't even be sure that saying Pasho is my muse is correct, at least not exclusively. For all I know, he might be pulling double duty working with somebody else somewhere. The thing is, if it's not the great philosopher Pasho speaking to me, and maybe a couple of his friends, I'll have to put some energy into where the voices in my head are really coming from. No matter whether it's the vast unknown of your inner space or a chorus of muses, the ideas you have are the reflection of how you take in and process the various elements of your universe and how you apply them in the moment. Sometimes you can get things all twisted and come up with exactly the wrong idea at exactly the wrong time, but go with it anyway. I think it's supposed to be funny. Generally, it's not. Still, your ideas are unique to you. While some may appear to be pilfered from other people or sources and modified, they can't help but be tempered by your own unique set of personal experiences, biases, and so on. And really, ideas aren't ideas if there isn't something to apply that thinking to. Otherwise, you're just generating random thoughts. You can develop your ability to generate more and newer and bigger and better ideas by giving yourself permission to do so. And make a bargain with yourself that you will not rate or grade the idea or outright dismiss it as stupid or something until you've given it the time it needs to grow a little bit. How long that takes is subjective. It depends on the circumstance, the need of the idea. We are generally hard on ourselves and harder still on our ideas. Look around you. Do you really think there are geniuses thinking up these things? Nope. Just folks like you and me with thoughts and ideas. The only real difference is stick-to-itiveness. Some people are just blissfully unaware of their limitations. Maybe we should all think more that way and love us some ideas. What do you think, Master Pasho? Master Pasho says yes. We'll see you next time.